Think about it, okay? It's reinforcing for a teacher to suspend a kid. This isn't rocket science. I'm just, you know that, right? I mean, when a teacher's been showing up every day and having trouble, in some schools, it's reinforcing for the learner to be suspended. Then what happens? It's reinforcing for the learner because the parent now with unemployment ending, right? Let's look at these macro things. All of a sudden, a parent has to go back to work, and it's easier to not fight with their teenage, if we're talking about the youth between, the high school age, it's easier for the parent when they don't just fight with their kid all day and they're like, you know what, I give up trying to get them to go to school. And let's look at these contingencies. Not saying we can impact them all as behavior analysts, but what else? Sometimes in certain districts, the schools keep getting the money for that student for a period of time. You aware of that? Yeah. So think about it. The current contingencies in many, I don't mean to be such a downer, but I'm just saying many of these things are macro issues. What else? The teacher is on salary, right, versus pay for performance. Quite often, depending on what state you're in, you could, listen, I saw a teacher cutting somebody's lawn. At the same time, he would mute it. He's cutting the lawn, right? This is like during school hours at 9:30 a.m. He's cutting the lawn, and then he hops in his truck and he's acting like he's looking at the chat and doing shit, and he's multitasking. He's making 2 paychecks. We got to be in the classroom, and raise your hand if you think that for modeling things. Yeah, but look at the contingencies. We have to do that. Now, the reason why I'm bringing these things up, including the hierarchy in schools, all right, look what's going on. To make one freaking decision, I remember Tony DeCesar joked about it. He's like, how do I get approved a freaking color printer? Like, to get one decision approved could literally take months of board meetings. Not only that, but it's off to the government system with a very vertical hierarchy. So what I'm suggesting is that we as a collective community of behavior analysts try to look at these meta things, and we band together. First of all, just you guys being here in person is courageous. Can you guys give yourself a freaking hand? Because I think it's awesome. I mean, it's hard. It's very hard. But you're here. We're as a community, we're collectively solving problems. It's exciting to me. I get excited over just about anything. But the thing is, let's look at it. So if we can influence the political level as behavior analysts, the policymakers, and you already know this, right? There's been some talks today about that. The policymakers and the school systems, industry at large, we can make a big difference. It's why, a salaried employee that's been part of the government agency for 38 years, I know because of my father, he was beat down, man. Like, he was beat down with showing up every day, and any extra effort he gave. What are you going to get, Teacher of the Year once and then have a post-reinforcement? Raise your hand if you know what a post-reinforcement pause is as a behavior analyst. Yeah, you're like, that's great, I got Teacher of the Year this year. But what about the next 30 years I'm working, and then that'll never happen again? Like, that's not going to be rewarding for people. We need to look at pay for performance, as Paulie suggested with OBM and things like that. And I think the way to do that is for us to use behavior analysis with politics. Because these are the folks making the decisions. And that also means the right donations. Because you can't just throw money at a system. I mean, New Jersey got $267 billion for schools. But they're not using it with behavioral technology and knowing what behaviors to reward. They're not using it to reward people for coming to work and engaging, right? They're not doing that. They're just wasting it. And we don't even know who's getting those millions. You see why I'm stepping back from it and I'm saying, these are the things that we can impact as a collective community, I think. The two things and then I'm done, I just wanted to mention is that, look, Paulie talked about pinpointing what's important, and think about it. What's important right now for mental health? What's important to get people to work? It's just simply someone who gives a shit, like a mentor, someone who truly cares about your success. If you're a teacher or a behavior analyst, like a coach who truly cares about you as a human being, not just what you can do for the school, not just what you could do for the organization, someone who gives a damn about your family, your circumstances, and that matters. So think about it. What should we do with all the mental health problems going on right now? The goal setting should be, tell you what, it's different for everyone. This person's been calling out every Friday. Let's just set a goal that for 3 consecutive Fridays, you can do it. So the goals are customized for the teacher or the consultant. Let's just do 4 Fridays in a row. Let's set a goal. And then the teacher reporting it out. So when you have the third principle of behavior analysis that we do have in behavioral karma, it's changed my life and many people's lives, which is simply if the teacher or the educator has to self-monitor something and then report it out to somebody that keeps them accountable, they're so much more likely to do it. Do you ever notice that if you know that you have to report out something, like they text their supervisor, I'm here, I'm motivated, the problem that's missing is the pay for performance. However, I would suggest doing this with anyone, your child, your teenager with chores, your own life, when it comes to your own mental health. If you're working on a new goal in life and you self-monitor it and you text or whatever communication to someone who cares, and then they give you the reciprocal feedback as you spoke about earlier, it's life-changing.